What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. Last Sunday was Black Sunday in Nigeria as a plane crashed near Lagos, killing all 153 people on board and people living in the residential area where the plane crashed. Now, these are some of the beautiful people that we lost in the plane crash. May their souls rest in peace. Now, the federal government has pledged to improve air safety in the country, and I'm wondering, why does it have to take a plane crash and the death of innocent people before the government will think about improving air safety? Do you know that this plane owned by Dana Airline almost crashed at the beginning of May on its way to Abuja? In fact, it had to make an emergency landing at Lagos Airport due to loss of hydraulic pressure. Yeah, with 86 people on board. How come the government didn't think about improving air safety after that incident? I mean, it was all over the news. And what about enforcing the law that prohibits flying a plane that is older than 20 years old in Nigeria? Because this plane that crashed is 22 years old. Yeah, by the way, there's a 41-year-old plane still in service in Nigeria. I'm not kidding you. You can go to planespotters.net. That's where you can find out the ages of all the planes in service before you book your next flight. See, the youngest one that I found are like 5 years old, owned by Arik Airline. But many of the other airlines are using planes that are like 20-something years old. Even a car of 20-something years old will be giving you problems. But hey, what do I know? See, my advice is, if the government wants to improve air safety, they need to get on it like ASAP. And you know, not just the air. They should start from the airport, you know, precisely the Lagos airport. First of all, that airport is way too small. We call it international airport now. We've seen international airports in other countries. It's so funny because whenever I go to Nigeria, as soon as I get to the airport, I just know that I have arrived in Nigeria. I was home last year and had to wait for like forever just to claim my luggage because it's only one belt that was working. Meanwhile, we were all sweating like crazy because, you know, it was hot. I was like, please, can you put on the AC? They said, the AC is on, the AC is on, you know, we are just conserving this. I said, hey, this AC is on. Lord have mercy. And I've never been fortunate to go home at the time that the escalator is working. Now, what pains me most is that after you claim your luggage, the custom officers are expecting you to give them dollars. I'm not saying they shouldn't check the luggage in order to make sure no one is smuggling anything into the country, but you know, I've noticed that they will let you go no matter what you have in your luggage as long as you give them something. And that's not safe. Now, you know, they come, they say, madam, what do you have for us now? I say, hey. We're all looking at him like, this guy doesn't know what it means to survive in America. In America, you have to do daytime, nighttime, part-time, full-time, and overtime, all at the same time, just to pay bills. When they realize you're not ready to give them money, they tell you, move to the side. What do you have in your bag? How can you alone have 3 luggage? I say, oh God, you want to look in the bag? I beg. Look in the bag now. So, you know, they delayed me for like half hour. Finally, they will come, they will say, you can go. That's another area that the government really needs to address. Have you also noticed that all the videos of the plane crash that you've seen on YouTube and other sites, that there was no order whatsoever? People were climbing on top of the plane, you know, breathing in toxic smoke. Some of them were actually stealing from whatever was left of the crash. And the emergency management agency did not get there on time. I heard that the plane was on the ground for 20 minutes before it actually exploded. By the time they got there, there were already thousands of people, so they couldn't even get close to the plane. Can you imagine the chaos? So as you can see, there are so many things that we need to take care of, and we don't have to always wait for innocent people to die before we do something. I'm just keeping it real. Speaking of death, a Sudanese woman, Sharif Abdullah, has been sentenced to death by stoning because of adultery. Now, first of all, hear this. The guy involved, because you don't do adultery by yourself, right? So the guy involved denied it. And guess what? He was freed. So he was free to go. But the girl, who's a teenager, by the way, and she's not even up to 18, she denied it. But guess what? Her own brother, her own blood brother, gave her some serious beatings until she said it was true. And based on that, they took her to court where she had no access to a lawyer or a translator because they were speaking in Arabic and that's not her native language. So she had no idea whatsoever what they were saying in court. All she knows is that now she's been sentenced to death by stoning. Now she's in prison with her 5-month-old baby. Yes, she's a new mom, for God's sake, waiting to be stoned. The government of Sudan seriously needs to wake up. This is 2012. African women are doing big things. Yes, they're becoming presidents, they're becoming pilots, they're doing big things. Honestly, you need to stop this hypocrisy of letting the man walk away free while you kill the girl. Come on, that's just wrong. I mean, seriously, that is just wrong. And I'm just keeping it real. Another thing that is wrong is that Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe has been named the UN's International Envoy for Tourism. I'm like, what? As in, they gave him a special recognition for agreeing to co-host with Zambia. You know, he agreed to co-host the UN's World Tourism Organization General Assembly next August. I'm like, what? Mugabe, that's just wrong, because this guy is living large in Zimbabwe at the expense of his citizens. Speaking of living large, the Deputy Prime Minister of Kenya just bought a 36 million shillings bulletproof Toyota Jeep because he wants to campaign in the coming election. He's getting himself prepared for the battle. That's why he got himself a bulletproof Jeep. Oh, it's so sad because he's getting it completely wrong. If you want people to vote for you, you don't go and buy a bulletproof car. Just tell them you had no shoes growing up. People will vote for you like crazy. Or tell them you had to walk miles to get to school when you were young. People will vote for you. They will think they're trying to help you. They will think they're trying to help you. Trust me, it works. Even in giant countries, it works. And while this man is buying the expensive bulletproof Jeep, do you know what the president of Malawi is doing? Joyce Banda. She got rid of the presidential jet and 60 cars owned by the previous administration. She's like, we don't need all of that. This is why I tell you, women, honestly, we're just, we're good. When a woman is in power, you can tell the difference. We're more passionate, more compassionate, more everything. Women are just good. She is using the proceeds from that to provide basic services to the poorest people of Malawi. Now that's what I call serving the people. Just keeping it real. Before I go today, I want you guys to see a little bit of Lesotho.
right, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out.